In Japanese culture, avoiding touching others without their consent is a minimal principle of politeness. Japanese people.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Duck, and I'm about to watch Discover 15 mind-blowing taboos in Japan you never expected. Watch now before it's too late. This is about Life ABC. We're gonna see if I can watch this video. If not, cool. At least we know. At least we know for next time. Let's see. I kind of want to visit Japan when I get a passport, you know? Let's watch.
Hello everyone, welcome to Life ABC's channel. Japan, the land of cherry blossoms, cutting-edge technology, and mysterious cultural traditions. But did you know there are taboos in Japan that might shock you and cause serious trouble? In today's video, we will reveal 15 shocking taboos that you should never do when visiting the land of the rising sun. Let's dive in and explore. 15. Banning work, leading to the phenomenon of karoshi, death from overwork. Work pressure also caused many Japanese to think about suicide. Japan has one of the highest suicide rates in the world, with the famous suicide forest Aokigahara, where it is said that every tree has someone hanging from it. This culture of working to death is a serious problem in Japan, and the ban on overtime work is one of the government's efforts to change this situation and protect workers' health and lives. 14. No tipping allowed. If you have a chance to visit a Japanese restaurant, you'll be surprised if you see staff running after you to return even a few yen. In Japan, tipping is not a way to reward service. Japanese people believe that when a customer tips, it means the customer is not satisfied with the service and wants to send a message that, next time, do better. Tipping is considered very rude and unpleasant for the restaurant and its staff.
The opposite, but okay.
They value dignity and respect much more than tips, and believe that you have paid for good service, so there's no need to tip. Japan is one of the few countries in the world that offers truly excellent service without any obligations. However, there are some notable exceptions to this rule that we will discuss further. Instead of tipping, Japanese people show gratitude to service staff through small gifts like origami, meticulously folded paper that contains heartfelt thanks and encouragement for the staff. For Japanese people, thanking with money does not fit with their practicality. This is a beautiful aspect of Japanese etiquette, showing warmth and a lack of greed for money. They do not use money to replace the beautiful and tangible values, because they understand that money cannot bring deep spiritual value. 13. Japan has no tattoos. Japan is a country where tattoos are not common, and many visitors with tattoos experience cultural shock when visiting the land of the rising sun. Here, tattoos are particularly stigmatized, and people with tattoos often cannot experience the most famous tourist services. Those with tattoos are banned from most inns, hot springs, public baths, restaurants, traditional guest houses, gyms, swimming pools, and even capsule hotels. Tattoos in Japan are often associated with the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, a concept familiar to the world through films and social media. Additionally, tattoos are stigmatized because they relate to a disrespected class from the Edo period, when criminals were punished by tattooing. During the same period, prostitutes known as yujo also tattooed themselves to show dedication to loyal customers. Tattoos gradually became illegal during the Meiji period and were only legalized in 1948. In many cases, you are not allowed to show your tattoos, although this attitude is gradually changing among the younger generation. Foreigners are often accepted to have tattoos, but they must cover them in public places. In 2013, Dennis Taito, a visitor from New Zealand, came to Hokkaido to attend a native language conference but was not allowed into a hot spring because of traditional tattoos on his face. In other countries, tattoos may be considered a form of beauty and memory, but in Japan, they are not recognized and can even cause many inconveniences. 12. Not giving up seats for the elderly on the bus. Japan is famous for its poetic beauty and noble rules. However, a seemingly paradoxical rule is not giving up seats for the elderly on public transportation.
Oh,
this might make you think that the Japanese are cold-hearted, but that's not the case. they actually have a valid reason for this rule. Today, all public transportation in Japan is equipped with priority areas for the elderly, pregnant women, children, and people with disabilities. If these priority seats are full, those who arrive later will have to stand.
That's
Even
how
if
it
younger
is in
people
America,
see them,
but it's like
but can't
they
do
don't
anything
care.
else.
Like,
This is
"Hey,
not because
here
the
you go."
Japanese don't care, but because they value equality in society.
Hey,
In Japan, the principle is that those who arrive first get a seat, and those who come later have to stand, and no one complains about
that
it.
should be crazy. So
Giving
it's
up
really
seats
like
for
that.
others is a common act in many parts of
Like
the world.
1,000 people on the
But in
train.
Japan, this can make people
in
feel
one
uncomfortable, as it can be seen as unnecessary differentiation in a society that values equality. If you really want to give up your seat, do it subtly, like pretending to get off at the next stop, or switching seats with someone else. So the Japanese can sit comfortably without worrying about you giving up your seat for them. 11.
Sleep.
Taboo numbers.
Taboo
Every country in
numbers.
the world has its own beliefs about
Oh,
unlucky
yeah,
numbers and avoids using
Nine
them.
and one.
Japan is no exception, with a strong aversion to the number 4.
Damn.
This stems from Japanese customs and beliefs, as the number 4 is pronounced similarly to shy, meaning death. Therefore, the number
Damn.
4 is considered unlucky. The
Jeez.
Japanese are very afraid of this number and use various methods to avoid bad luck related to it. For example, in some buildings, elevators do not have a button for the 4th floor. Instead, this floor is labeled as 3A or 3S, or replaced with the letter T. Many apartment buildings, offices, and hospitals also do not have a 4th floor. This confuses many visitors to Japan when they cannot find the 4th floor in buildings. Similarly, the number 9 is also considered unlucky in Japan because its pronunciation is similar to kurushimi, meaning suffering. Most hotels in Japan do not have room numbers 9 or 49. This creates a significant cultural conflict when, in the US, the number 9 is considered lucky and perfect. These beliefs about numbers in Japan are not just superstitions, but deeply reflect the psychology and culture of the people. This not only makes the Japanese feel secure, but also helps them maintain traditional values through generations. 10.
Oh, the next
Prohibited
one.
gifts. In the daily lives of the
Wow.
Japanese, gift giving is an essential part, with about 70 occasions each
That's
year.
crazy.
Some important occasions
It's a
include New
blowout
Year's Day, New Year's gifts, Father's Day, Mother's Day, birthdays, weddings, family celebrations, induction ceremonies, graduations, welcoming new people, and visiting the sick. With so many gift-giving occasions, the Japanese also have many rules about gifts, especially those that should not be given. First, avoid giving gifts related to the numbers 4 and 9, as mentioned earlier. These are 2 taboo numbers in Japan. The number 4 is pronounced like shi, meaning death, and the number 9 is pronounced like kurushimi, meaning
the shimi.
suffering. Next,
Ain't that a
do
name
not
in
give
the
a
anime?
comb to a Japanese person,
Oh.
as the word for comb in Japanese is kushi, pronounced like kurushimi, meaning suffering death. Additionally, do not give images of foxes, glass items, or sharp objects.
Damn, son.
Gifts with fox images are considered symbols of greed and cunning. Glass or fragile
we're not like,
materials
you
are
know.
seen as bringing bad luck to relationships. Sharp items
Fuck.
like knives or scissors are thought to cut off relationships.
Oh, shit.
Finally, do not give chrysanthemums and camellias. If you must give flowers, avoid these 2 as they are used in funerals in Japan.
Oh,
If you
shit,
insist on
son.
giving chrysanthemums or
They say we
camellias,
got
the
restrictions
Japanese
over
might
here.
get angry and see it as cursing them and their families. With these rules, the Japanese not only preserve
Yo,
traditions,
the way they doing
but
presents,
also
though.
show respect and delicacy in gift giving. 9.
Need to
Not sitting
pick
with
that
legs
up.
crossed. In most
Oh.
countries, sitting with legs crossed is completely normal. However, when you come to Japan,
That's relaxing.
you will
man.
encounter a fascinating cultural difference.
Hard to sit in other
Sitting
positions
with legs crossed
for
can
long
make you
periods of
appear
time.
rude and dangerous in the eyes of the Japanese. Although the Japanese government does not ban this, Japanese culture places special emphasis
Hell
on
no.
respecting others, especially
I
in
can't
public
sit my
places
legs
or
like
meetings.
that.
Sitting with legs crossed in Japan can be considered impolite and provocative, making others uncomfortable. The Japanese believe this posture is reminiscent of cheap prostitutes inviting customers. Therefore, to show respect and politeness, the Japanese often sit in the traditional seiza style, sitting on the knees with a neat and dignified posture. When you come to Japan, instead of sitting with legs crossed, try sitting on your knees or sitting with your back straight and legs together to better integrate with the local culture.
Man, look
Your
here.
respectful and polite way of
I'ma
sitting will
stand
be
up.
appreciated and help you
I
make
will
a good
bow.
impression on
I'll
the
do all that.
Japanese.
Fuck all that.
8. Women not allowed in sacred places. Women make up half of the world, but in some places in Japan they are considered taboo and are not allowed to set foot in sacred places. The most famous of these places is Mount Omin.
Wow.
Mount Omina, also known as Mount Sanjo, has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2004. However, for centuries, women have been completely banned from visiting the mountain and the sacred temple at its summit to avoid polluting the sacred atmosphere. Although discrimination has decreased significantly today, this rule remains unchanged. There is even a sign at the entrance to the mountain trail explicitly stating the prohibition of women. Another famous place that bans women is Okinoshima Island, located in Kyushu.
Okinoshima.
This island is recognized as a World Cultural Heritage Site due to its significant historical value. According to the rules, only men are allowed on the island, and they must cleanse themselves thoroughly before setting foot on it. Women are completely banned, and anyone who visits the island is not allowed to take anything off the island, not even a stone. Additionally, Japanese women are also not allowed in sumo rings, cannot register for marriage within 6 months after a divorce, and face many other strict regulations.
Holy shit.
Although Japan is a strongly developed country, discrimination against women still exists through these taboo rules.
Holy shit.
This shows that despite social and economic progress, Japan still needs to strive for true gender equality. 7. Smoking outdoors is prohibited. The regulation of smoking outdoors in Japan is a controversial one, both reasonable and somewhat unreasonable. Since 2018, Japan has implemented new laws to reduce the risk of passive smoking, applied at schools, hospitals, government agencies, and public areas.
Dude.
According to these laws, places that allow smoking can be fined up to $4,600.
Holy
And
shit.
individuals violating the rules can face fines up to $2,700 if they smoke in prohibited areas. However, the law also specifies designated smoking areas outdoors to balance the rights of smokers with public safety. Notably, while smoking in crowded areas like restaurants and hotels is restricted, the Japanese government still allows smoking in restaurants, bars, and some other public places. Many Japanese people are dissatisfied with this, arguing that if smoking is to be banned, it should be entirely banned. They believe that allowing smoking outdoors, although it reduces smoke compared to indoors, is not as effective as implementing a comprehensive smoking ban. 6. Avoid touching others without consent. In Japanese culture, avoiding touching others without their consent is a minimal principle of politeness. Japanese people highly value personal space and respect for others. When you come to Japan, you will notice that touching others, even shaking hands, is not encouraged. Instead, the Japanese show respect by bowing politely, usually around 90 degrees, when interacting. For those with high status or older people, this gesture shows deep respect.
Bro, look at her body.
Public teasing is also considered disrespectful
gracious.
in Japan. Before 1945, such behavior was considered a violation of public order and could result in
her body.
imprisonment.
That's weird.
Although cultural attitudes
she
and legal
looks- she
regulations
got
in Japan
good
have changed
proportions.
after World War II, public displays of affection are still strictly managed. In Japan, public displays of affection, like kissing, are no longer illegal, but should be done with restraint and respect for the culture,
Fuck.
especially in public places. Not wearing shoes indoors. When you enter a house in Japan, wearing shoes or even indoor slippers can be seen as disrespectful. Therefore, remember to take off your shoes or slippers at the entrance and switch to your indoor slippers. If there are no indoor slippers, you can wear socks or go barefoot. This practice has existed for about 2,000 years, originating from the need to keep living spaces clean and dry. Due to the hot and humid summer climate, traditional Japanese houses were built with raised floors to avoid moisture and help with air circulation, creating a cooler environment. Tatami mats, which cover almost the entire floor, also help maintain cleanliness and comfort. In a book published in 1984 by a Japanese sociologist, the importance of the interior space of the home was emphasized as a private and clean area compared to the dusty and chaotic outside. Therefore, changing shoes before entering the house not only aims to maintain cleanliness, but also shows respect for the homeowner's private space. Although this rule is more flexible in modern life, many Japanese people still value this tradition. So, when visiting a Japanese home, always ask if you can wear shoes inside to show respect for their culture. 3. Not eating while walking. A famous British YouTuber, Jack, shared his shocking experience when traveling in Japan. While strolling down the street and enjoying a Japanese bun, he was surprised by the unfriendly looks from people around him. 2 elderly men even scolded him and chased him out of town. Jack was very confused by this reaction, and when he found out the real reason, his confusion increased even more. It turns out, the uncomfortable attitude from passers-by was not because he did something wrong, but simply because he was eating while walking, a behavior considered very unusual in Japan. Here, eating while walking on the street or on the subway is not accepted, as the Japanese believe it can disturb others. The smell of food and the sound of chewing can cause discomfort and disrupt public order. Therefore, eating on the street can lead to being scolded by elders or receiving unfriendly looks. 2. Not using chopsticks to pass food to others. The Japanese are known for their high sensitivity, especially regarding issues like tattoos, touching others, and even basic expressions of affection. One of their traditional customs is to use chopsticks to pick up the bones of the deceased during cremation ceremonies.
Sonic there, bro.
Therefore, using chopsticks to pass food to others can be seen as an impolite act, almost like an insult. Additionally, sticking chopsticks into a bowl of rice is also forbidden, as this action resembles the act of offering incense to the deceased. If you accidentally do this during a meal, you might be asked to leave and face severe criticism from the host. So, the advice for those visiting Japan is to use chopsticks, only to eat food, and avoid any other actions to avoid unnecessary trouble. 1. Whistling at night.
Who the fuck whistles at night?
Whistling at night in Japan is often considered taboo, and children are frequently warned against this behavior. While some believe that whistling at night is simply a way to encourage children to sleep quietly and not make noise, there are many cultural reasons and legends behind this. A common reason is folklore linking whistling with snakes.
I didn't even know that was a thing, whistling?
According to a story, a wicked man used a poisonous snake to attack his victims, and whistling at night was believed to be a way to control the snake. Snakes can sense the sound of whistling, so snake trainers often use whistles to signal them. Moreover, the Japanese believe that whistling at night can attract demons or thieves. In the past, thieves often used whistles to communicate with each other, and whistling could make villagers think you are an accomplice of thieves. For this reason, whistling at night is considered something to avoid, to prevent misunderstandings or unwanted risks. So we've explored 15 taboos in Japan. Hopefully this information will give you a clearer view of Japan.
Yo, it's cool. It's cool. That's good to know. Some of the stuff about it. No wonder it's a place for visit and not staying, according to my friends. Okay. I'm a visit. I'm a visit though still, but it's a very interesting. Okay, so we gotta avoid 4 and 9. I knew about the 9. I didn't know about 4. For Japan. Yeah, gotta visit them one day. One day we visit. I will visit, and it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be very nice to visit and see that in person. Cool. Hope you guys found that video as informative as I did. That was a lot. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of information to know. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.